Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jason from jasonscustoms.com, and today we're going to take a close look at the Hori RAP.N for PlayStation 4. We're going to open this thing up, tear it apart, and see what makes it tick. At the end, hopefully, we're going to find a stick that we can easily mod. So let's grab our tools and our test equipment and see what makes this thing tick. The stick is at the upper end of the mid-range market at a $170 price tag, and some may not want to pay that $20 premium for the Noir layout as compared to the standard wrap sticks available. The most noticeable feature of this stick is the covered options button. It's tucked away under a door so you can't accidentally hit it by mistake. The matte Hayabusa buttons look and feel great. The Noir curve of the layout is comfortable and a welcome change from the Hicks layout most common in the commercial space these days. The stick's auxiliary functions such as home, select, turbo, etc. are tucked away in the upper left portion of the case. This placement is convenient yet out of the way, minimizing the risk of an accidental press during play. Opening the stick is straightforward. There are 8 screws holding the metal plate on. Note, one is covered by a warranty void if removed sticker. Peel the sticker back and then remove the screws using a Phillips screwdriver. Tilting the stick up makes removing the panel easy. Inside, you'll find all of the major buttons, lever, and wires are easily accessible and serviceable. Everything feeds to a single PCB in the lower right-hand portion of the case. The first thing I noticed was the button wires and lever wires were soldered to the main PCB and then covered with a thick glue to hold them down. I'm not a huge fan of this choice as it looks cheap and makes upgrades and modding more difficult later. The aux panel, touchpad, and USB cable are held on with JST style connectors so they can be removed quite easily. Removing the flat ribbon cable for the touchpad isn't difficult, just unclip the black clip using a fingernail and the cable will pull out easily. Not shown, I had to cut a zip tie that held the USB ferrite bead in place before I could fully remove the USB cable. Removing the PCB is as easy as removing the 4 Phillips screws holding it down. Once removed, disconnect the button wires from each button and the PCB can be set aside. Removing the lever is also very straightforward. First, remove the ball top using a flathead screwdriver on the bottom of the shaft and hold the ball top in your other hand. Turn the screwdriver left and the ball top will unscrew. Once the ball top is removed, you can remove the shaft cover and dust washer and set them aside. Remove the lever by unscrewing the 4 Phillips screws holding it in place. The lever will just lift out easily once they're done. The Hayabusa buttons have stiff tabs that hold them in place. Press them inwards and the buttons will pop out. The action buttons are 30mm, and any Sanwa or Shimizu buttons that are also 30mm can be swapped in easily. You may have some trouble removing the buttons closest to the plastic support of the case like I did. I used a small screwdriver to help press the tabs in, and they came right out. The options button is a 24mm button, so be sure to use an appropriately sized replacement if you want to swap it out later. Flipping the stick over, you'll find that the control panel is held on by 6 Allen keyed screws. Once all of the screws are removed, the panel will lift right off. Upon closer inspection of the lever mount, I noticed it had all of the common mounts. To test it out, I grabbed a Shimizu lever with an SS plate and it lined up perfectly with the 2 middle mounting points. The Sanwa JLF fit perfectly, which makes sense because it shares a common mounting pattern with the Hayabusa. The Samduxa infiltration lever also lined up and fit on the bracket as well. If you compare it to the Hayabusa though, you will see it has a little bit more depth, but the HRAP.N case is deep enough to support the added height. I suspected that the Crown 309 TAC MJ would fit as well, and I was correct. Once again, comparing the Hayabusa to the MJ shows the MJ is deeper, but it should fit fine. The standard Crown and Fanta Korean levers will not fit. The grommet's too large for the shaft opening in the panel, and there are no mounting points that support it to boot. To be sure the Japanese compatible Korean levers I checked out wouldn't hit the bottom panel, I temporarily installed the infiltration lever and remounted the panel and bottom plate. The lever moved freely and nothing rubbed. Looking closer at the brain of the RAP.N, you will see that all of the points are well labeled and easily accessible. If you look closer at the glue on the PCB, you will likely be shocked that Hori decided to go this route versus using a JST connector for the connections. It's especially puzzling since they decided to use JST connectors for everything else. Some fight stick PCBs send signals low when USB signals aren't detected. To test this out, I connected my calibrated power supply to the VUSB and ground points on the cable connector for the USB cable. I probed the signal lines for a few of the connections, and I found that there's approximately 1,000 ohms of resistance between ground and signal. Not shown in this video, I did check to see if there was continuity between the signal wires and ground, and there wasn't. I suspect no diodes would be required if adding a pad hack to this fight stick later. Comparing the Hayabusa buttons to Shimizu and Sanwa can be difficult. The obvious differences are in the size and general shape of each button. The Hayabusa button looks most like a short throw Shimizu, but the plunger and rim is about half that of the others. There isn't a major difference in actuation force that I could tell without using special test equipment, so I won't cover anything like that here. The Hayabusa lever features a fixed square gate and has a nice black finish all around. Hori definitely greases their pivots well, as I found a few oil slicks on the mounting plate during my inspections. Removing the gate is easy. Simply remove the 4 screws holding it on with a Phillips screwdriver, and it will lift right off. Once inside, you will see 4 Omron switches that have wires soldered to a common PCB that has the familiar 5-pin JST-SH style connector on it. The case is very spacious and provides a lot of options for modifications and additions down the road. The housing is molded such that replacement panels could be restricted without trimming plastic away and weakening the case. One thing that jumped out at me was the half-circle opening in the molding down at the bottom center of the case. Curious about it, I checked a 30mm button to see if it would fit in the opening, and it certainly did. It almost feels like Hori intentionally placed that space to allow for a third-party hitbox panel to be retrofitted in later. The Hori RAP.N is a great mid-price stick with awesome qualities and only 1 or 2 negatives that I found overall. The Hayabusa lever and buttons are very well made and rival that of Sanwa and Shimizu offerings. Out of the box, this is a premium fight stick. You'll notice it. The Hayabusa parts, they may not be for you, but Sanwa and Shimizu diehards aren't going to be happy with them anyways, and they're going to want to change them out immediately. Panel swaps are going to be accessible if someone decides to make them, and as I previously noted, it looks like Hori purposely designed the plastic support structure to accommodate some of the more unique layouts such as hitbox. So how do I grade this? Basic modding's going to get an 8. You can easily change the lever, the buttons, and the ball top with basic hand tools. Deep levers such as the crown mountable JLF or the infiltration lever fit fine, and you can do any simple mod with the basic Phillips head screwdriver. Everything's easy to get to and swap out, so newcomers shouldn't be afraid to try it. Advanced modding is also going to get an A. Adding pad hacks or fighting board upgrades and LEDs is going to be easy if you know how to solder. Hori did a great job of making sure everything is accessible, and they left you plenty of room to work in the case should you choose to go that route. The one gripe I do have about the entire experience is the wires being directly soldered to the PCB and then covered in hot glue. But if you're looking to advance mod a board, this is not a big deal. Hot glue is easy to scrape. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, go ahead and hit that thumbs down button. I'm not going to be offended, I promise. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time a new episode or video is posted, and be sure to follow Jasen's Customs on Facebook and Twitter. Need more breaking down the stick to watch? Then check out one of these videos over here.